Hey folks, it's Rod with Pow Group. Welcome back on the Pursuit of Wealth, your home for MJ stocks, crypto assets, and interviews. Today is Tuesday, August 22nd. Hope you're well. And in this video, we're going to be discussing Bitcoin. We're going to be looking at a technical pattern. It is a bear flag at the moment with a target of $23,000 USD. We're going to go over the bull and bear case here. We'll do some analysis, and then we'll do a quick update with regards to news and BRICS. And I'll give my thoughts and opinions on the chart and the whole just state of crypto at the moment and Bitcoin, and my thoughts and opinions on what to expect in terms of price action in terms of the next few weeks and months ahead. Before we get to it though, make sure to smash the like, help support me in the channel. It doesn't cost you anything. If you're new, you can subscribe, tick the bell, all that good stuff. You'll be notified on any future videos or when I do a live stream. Also, you can scroll down if you just go to the About section or go to the store tab. I just launched the POW merch store. A lot of people were asking for this and we delivered, or you can go down to About and you can actually visit the POW merchandise website. And you'll see here, everything is listed there on the website. And shout out to Paul A, who was the first to ever place a POW merch order. Also, make sure to follow POW Group on X, formerly Twitter. The handle for that is @GroupPOW. I'm going to be using that as my platform of choice going forward. So again, @GroupPOW on X. You can give that a follow. But as we know, the BRICS summit has begun, and at a much watched BRICS summit, Putin tries to rally support. So leaders of Brazil, India, China, South Africa addressed other topics, but Russia's president, unable to attend in person because he is wanted for war crimes, put the war in Ukraine at center stage in the meeting. And we know that there could be, I don't think there's going to be any kind of currency. I don't think they're going to come out with any, type of real plan here. What I'm going to be looking for is more countries joining BRICS. And one would be Saudi Arabia. There's a lot of talks that even the US might potentially join BRICS, but essentially it all has to do with the petrodollar and dethroning the US dollar as the world reserve currency, right? So if we see Saudi Arabia, which is, a big player in the petro game, this could change everything, right? And that would cause a lot of panic. And then there was some news today that US citizens were urged to leave Belarus. There's also the Taiwan uncertainty with China and them invading. So there's a lot of geopolitical things that could happen here that could affect world markets, right? And that would definitely hurt crypto. And that lines up with the bear flag target of 23,000 that I was talking about. So we'll just keep an eye on this. I'll be giving everybody an update with regards to this, but I think we could be due for some short to medium term pain. And then long term, I think we're going to see some massive moves in the crypto space. But I think we could see one more flush down and things could get a little bit more fearful and extreme to the downside before we start to see a massive rally into the end of the year. And something that could spark a rally, this could, like BRICS and Saudi Arabia and other nations joining BRICS, could cause temporary fear and panic in the market. But I think that in the end of the year here, the chances of an SEC approval of a spot Bitcoin ETF is very, very high. And we know that SEC's losing lawsuits left, right, and center. And they may approve this to kind of take some of the attention off their back, right? Because they've been failing the market. They haven't really been doing their job in protecting investors. Look at FTX, look at all these insolvencies and outright frauds. If it wasn't for that, if we had a spot Bitcoin ETF like we do here in Canada, the Canadian government approved one. There was just one approved in Europe and in Amsterdam as well. So it's just a matter of time for the US follow suit, right? So it's game theory playing out. Once one or two starts to do it, the rest follow. And in my opinion, that would protect a lot of investors because they wouldn't have been caught up in these scandals like FTX and so on, right? And who knows how many other frauds and scandals could come to the surface, right? So, and Kathy Wood thinks that they could approve multiple at once, right? So like Fidelity, there's BlackRock, right? They have the best record and the largest asset manager on the planet. And then we could see, Grayscale. There's also the verdict, which it was expected to potentially this week, but just in no decision in Grayscale SEC case today. Next possible date is Friday. So we could see that soon. And I think they're going to win. And then also Coinbase fighting the SEC at the moment in a lawsuit as well. And Senator Cynthia Lummis files amicus brief supporting Coinbase's dismissal motion against the SEC. So the Coinbase basically asks the court to dismiss this lawsuit, and they even referenced the Ripple lawsuit as well, which we know that they basically got a split decision, but Ripple, in my opinion, won that, and XRP itself was deemed a non-security. So that's good for the crypto space. And if Coinbase were to win its case, that's only going to solidify my thesis that we could see the SEC approve a spot Bitcoin ETF. Maybe they even approve a few, and then maybe even Grayscale wins, and they get to convert their trust into an ETF, right? So there's a ton of bullish catalysts that we're looking out for. But like I said, I think that this BRICS hanging over our heads at the moment is the wild card. But I do think that we could see a little bit more pain ahead before we see a massive end of year rally. And if we take a look at the Bitcoin chart here, On the daily time frame, you can see here we have the high, the low, and we started the daily bounce, but it was a very, very weak bounce straight into daily consolidation. So this is a daily bear flag. You just take the fib tool, you go from the high to the low here of the dump, and anything under that 0.32 fib is considered a daily bear flag. So 26,919. Giving you the bull case and the bear case. If we break above 26,919, that will negate this bear flag. But look how close we are to confirming it. In order to confirm it, we need to lose the low there at 25,234. We got as low as 25,350. So we came very, very close from confirming that daily bear flag. And to get the measured move, you just take the high to the low and you move it out to the 0.32 fib there. And it's saying we could be targeting about 23,000 USD if we confirm that. But again, we haven't confirmed it yet. We need to lose 25,234 to confirm. And in order to negate it, we need to get above 26,919. So even from the low there, from where we were today, we could still see another 9 to 10% of downside if that daily bear flag confirms. Also, the RSI here, the relative strength index, which is measuring oversold and overbought, so undervalued and overvalued. If you take a look at the RSI here, this is the lowest level since C19. So this is pretty scary, right? But you got to wonder how much lower is it really going to go? And like I said, this daily bear flag could be that final extreme flush before we see some massive moves here into the end of the year. And there's tons of catalysts to be looking out for. But with that being said, on the weekly time frame, we're nowhere near weekly oversold. And look, we're actually not even close at all, right? We've been multiple times we've been heavily oversold, way more than this. And we could still see an EMA 12 and 26 bear cross with the shorter term exponential moving average above the longer period. In this case, it's the 12 and 26 period, which I really like. So if that were to occur, that would mean a lot more downside. But we do have support there on the weekly at 24,750. So those are the bear cases and the bull cases. And it's looking like it's probably more bearish here in the short term. Like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if we went to 23,000. But in terms of the monthly time frame, we are approaching key monthly support here at 24,000. Again, just like the weekly, 24,750. If we lose 24,750, I would say we're going to 23,000 in a hurry. And then after that, no support on the monthly until 19,568. And then we also have 20,000 psychological. So I think the chances of us going to 23K from here are very, very high. I think it's probably like a 75% we're going there, and 25% we negate it and we continue up from here. But I think we could see, like I said, drop down to around 23,000. And then we could see an EMA 12 and 26 bull cross on the monthly time frame, right? And then we would look for a higher low compared to that next low at 19,568. But look what happened the last time. This was a bear cross here with the shorter term above the longer term, and they went across. They didn't actually fully cross, but this time they did. And we went from all-time high, and then price dropped all the way down from about 77%, right? A little over 77%. And that was a bear cross. Now we're seeing a potential bull cross. But again, I'm leaning a little bit more bearish here in the short term. And then I think into the end of the year, we could see some massive catalysts. Also, we had some pretty big red flags here on the weekly time frame. We closed below the 10-week moving average for the last 2 weeks in a row after having it confirmed as support. And then we saw a bear cross on the stochastic and the MACD. So in terms of the weekly macros, it's not looking good at all. And then in terms of the weekly moving averages, we had a bear cross of those moving averages. Again, when the shorter term or above the longer term and they cross, that's bad. That's bearish, meaning more downside. Could be good if you have a short going, right? If you're betting that the price is going down, you can play it in both directions, which, you can do that as well. But at the moment, you can see that these moving averages are starting to gear up for a potential bull cross again, where the shorter term's below the longer term and they could cross. And look where the 50-day is. The 50 weekly is. It's at 23,855. So again, we could backtest that 50 weekly, and that lines up with the daily bear flag of 23,000 as well. So I wouldn't be surprised in the least if we backtested 23,000 and then we get that backtest out of the way and then go. And then in terms of the daily time frame, we had a golden cross with the 50-day moving average below the 200-day moving average. Look what happened last time that happened. Price absolutely skyrocketed. Then we had a death cross into another bull cross, and then a new all-time high, death cross. That's when we dropped over 77%. Now we're seeing a golden cross again, but we're on the verge of another death cross. So it's just been bouncing around here on the daily time frame. But because of how because of how much volatility there's been, and how much the big swings that we've seen, I'm paying attention more to the weekly moving averages. A back test of the 50 weekly and then a potential bull cross. And if we get, like I said, multiple spot Bitcoin ETFs approved, this will skyrocket the price. I could see 80 to 100K for Bitcoin on that news. And if we get Coinbase win their lawsuit, which it's speculated that they will, Grayscale comes out ahead. And, I think that into the end of the year, we could see some massive fireworks. Also, Congress still hasn't been banned from owning stocks yet, so that should potentially be the market top, and that could happen later on this year, if not in the beginning part of 2024, in my opinion. But let me know what you think. Do you think we're more bullish or bearish? At the moment, I'm definitely leaning bearish. Like I said, back test at 23,000, the daily bear flag target, and the 50 weekly. And then I think it's going to be all systems go after that, and we'll be watching for some major catalysts. But let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comment section below. We'll continue the conversation there. It's Rod with Pal Group. Thanks again for joining us in the pursuit of wealth, and we'll see you again on the next video.